what I saw as true, there's nothing that stands between this world and utter destruction. It's up to us to save this place. Who lives and who dies?
Make the hard choice.
It's him.
You better run!
War is on its way.
Come on, you're the god of mischief.
Always have been. Always will be.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just released another Loki Season 2 trailer as part of a special integration they're doing with McDonald's during the series and also in real life. Now a lot of people are getting strong Rick and Morty vibes, like, oh no, they're not doing the special sauce Rick and Morty thing again. Hopefully crazy stans will come out of the woodwork and start going nuts. We also learned what's going on with the characters, the larger Kang Dynasty, the Council of Kangs, in Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I'll be doing episode videos just like I did during Season 1. It'll start right after the Ahsoka episodes, which are starting in a couple weeks. I'll do videos for all those episodes too, so no worries. But in the new trailer footage and scenes, we see Loki discovering where Sylvie has been hiding in the timeline since the end of Season 1. All I can think of when I see her at McDonald's here is that funny Family Guy meme.
Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Ding, fries it done. Ding, fries it done.
You can make all the jokes you want about Loki wanting that quote-unquote sweet apple pie. The fact that Loki fell in love with another version of himself is the most Loki thing that he could possibly have done. That's how vain he is. He loves himself the most. Just to explain what happened to her at the end of Season 1, because we only saw that tag scene of Loki arriving back at the TVA to the changed timeline where everything was just a little bit different. At the end of Season 1, Sylvie pushed Loki back to the TVA using He Who Remained Kang's portal device that he'd given to them earlier in the episode, like he just offered it to them. He either wanted them to kill him or replace him. He didn't care which. The reason why is just out of extreme boredom. He lived, as literally the name implies, the last remaining human living in the multiverse for millions of years at this point when they're meeting him. So at a certain point after he used Eliath to collapse all the multiverse down to the sacred timeline, defeating the Council of Kangs in the first version of the timeline, he just grew bored, like time just marched on and he just eventually stopped caring as much. They called it sort of like a Grey Gardens, Willy Wonka kind of situation because in Willy Wonka, he's trying to find a replacement for his factory.
So the factory's yours, Charlie. You can move in immediately.
Inside his citadel at the end of time, remember one of the statues of those people was broken? That was meant to be the statue of the Kang that they banished to the quantum realm. I'll talk more about him at the end of the video because I think he's connected more to what's happening in Secret Wars, which is like beyond Avengers 5. But once Sylvie killed He Who Remains, the locks that he'd put in place, keeping his sacred timeline from branching out in the true multiverse with his variants all rising in alternate timelines and universes, stops. The timeline does reboot. All possible timelines begin to branch out at will into alternate universes. Council of Kangs rises again. We saw them in the Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene.
Must really eat you up that you're not the one who killed him.
Once that started to happen, in the immediate moments after he died, Sylvie took his portal device, jumped back to the 1970s, somewhere in the UK. Not sure exactly where she's at in here, but she's somewhere in the UK. Starts hiding out from the new version of the TVA by pretending to be a totally normal, boring worker at a random McDonald's, like hiding out by being the most ordinary, uninteresting person she could possibly be. This is too much. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm just going to go live this boring life pretending to be a normal McDonald's worker.
Fries it done. Ding, fries are done.
Notice her uniform has all those gold bars when Loki finds her, meaning that she'd been an upstanding employee for a good long while. Like she's settled into this totally ordinary, vanilla, uninteresting, uncomplicated, boring life. Loki, on the other hand, as we saw in the trailers, has to do kind of a speedrun version of the beginning of Season 1 again because none of the TVA agents like Mobius remember him. Only he, Sylvie, all the Kang variants, and Renslayer remember the events of Season 1. So he has to re-explain everything that happened at the beginning of Season 1. That's why you see him back in the prisoner jumpsuit being interrogated by Mobius.
All right, let's do this one last time.
He starts slipping through his own timeline uncontrollably, kind of like glitching in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but a little bit different in that he's jumping around in his own timeline. He's not glitching just because he's in the wrong universe or anything. It looks like they go get Ke Huy Quan's help, who's the tech guy of the TVA. His name is Ouroboros, which literally means time eater. They discover that time itself is broken and unraveling like a rope, and that's probably why things are going crazy all over the place. To boot, there is no actual Kang ruling over the TVA or inside the TVA. It's a big mystery about what happened to him because we saw the statue at the end of season 1. Early theory, that's probably because something happened to this variant of Kang that's now running the TVA, or the start of the TVA, because of the new version of the Kang Multiverse War, which is already broken out in the wider multiverse. While they're trying to fix that and figure out what's going on with all the different Kang variants, Loki is able to track down Sylvie at that 1970s McDonald's. They also travel to the 1970s on a regular TVA mission to stop a Nexus event being caused by the Zaniac character. He's totally crazy in the comics. I explained him in my previous trailer video. He is a super meta comic book character, which is a bit of a play on the fake in-universe movies like the Wonder Man movies that are made. They're actually doing a real-life Marvel Wonder Man series. The series will follow him in his alias as he pretends to be this Hollywood actor making all these fake in-universe movies that you see them advertising in different real-life Marvel movies. They might learn about Sylvie when they're back in the 1970s taking care of Zaniac just because she's in that same time period, also in the UK. At some point, Loki's able to win her back. They return to the TVA where you see them arguing about greater problems they face inside this automat. When Sylvie argues with him about playing God and he says that they are, remember, they're both Lokis from different universes and Loki is supposed to be the Norse god of mischief, so technically he's not wrong, they are supposed to be gods. But Loki isn't a god the same way that Thor is a god. Like, he's not literally a god in the cosmic sense, the way that Thor was born a god to Odin, who was a god himself. Loki's more like a highly evolved being, like the Frost Giants do have their own gods that they worship, so they themselves are not gods. This is why Thor is fundamentally different from the regular Asgardians like Valkyrie. Valkyrie is just like a really strong Asgardian. Thor is an actual god. Their actual argument, though, is about which Nexus events do they stop, which people do they prune, if they're now in control of the TVA trying to fix the timelines. So it's paying off that He Who Remains scene from the end of season 1 even more. He wanted them to take his place running the chocolate shop, so to speak, Willy Wonka style, running the TVA. They kind of wind up doing that, even if they don't want to. While that's going on, you have the Council of Kangs running wild, doing anything and everything that they want, messing with the multiverse in the background. One of the missions Loki takes them on to find a Kang variant is to the 1890s at this World's Fair to stop Victor Timely Kang. I think this is supposed to be the Chicago World's Fair from the late 1800s. Think of him as sort of like the Nikola Tesla version of Kang, because that's kind of the vibe they're going with here. That's also why his Miss Minutes that he created looks old-timey, because he himself is pretending to be old-timey. Separately, you also have Renslayer, who's back. It's the same Renslayer that escaped at the end of season 1. It seems like she was warned by He Who Remains Kang what was going to happen and how to survive. She's Kang's love interest in the comics, but in the comics, she's just the love interest of the main version of Kang. So it's unclear if she's going to have a relationship or become a love interest for one of these new Kang variants at some point. Supposedly, they're going to feature a number of different Kang variants during the season, not just Victor Timely. I don't think they made a whole lot of changes because of all the Jonathan Majors stuff that's going on. If they've changed anything, it's to like the very end of the series and the way they wrap up his story arc. We probably won't learn about that till the actual final episode winds up airing. Early theory is that the post-credit scene will probably be something connected to Loki Season 3 and Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, just because so much of this is tied to the Kang plot. Assuming they do a Season 3, they'd probably release it either right before Avengers 5, or they could always do it between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. A lot of you have been asking about this too. Will they do series set on Battleworld if they're between Avengers movies? The idea is that at the end of Avengers 5, a different, more powerful version of Kang will resurface and kill the Council of Kangs, collapse the multiverse into a single world for the entire reality, with just a few of the heroes from different universes left, and they try to stop him. But if there's going to be a whole year between Avengers movies when they've collapsed the multiverse to that one world, will series be set on that world if they're released between movies? They also might wind up splitting Secret Wars into 2 different movies, which would make that problem even worse. Like, you'd have to have some of the series centered on Battleworld. Right now, the report is that they want Doctor Strange 3 to be the final Marvel movie right before Avengers 5, because Doctor Strange is supposed to be so important for Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. But before all these changes happen, reportedly, the way they were going to plot it out is that during Avengers 5, you have the new version of the MCU Avengers that assemble to fight the Council of Kangs, the Dynasty of Kangs. That's why the movie is called Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. they wind up getting their asses handed to them, like they aren't powerful enough to defeat the Council of Kangs, but they pay off the scene from the end of Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, maybe with that version of Kang surviving, resurfacing, and paying off his quote talking to Ant-Man about how he wanted revenge against the Council of Kangs in his first act would have been to kill them. So the idea is that the Avengers aren't powerful enough to kill Kang, only another Kang can kill the Kangs. Whoever that Kang winds up being, he's the person that then collapses the rest of reality to the single Battleworld, and you have the events of Secret Wars. We'll start getting more Loki Season 2 trailers while Ahsoka is happening, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Click here for that other big Loki Season 2 trailer video, and click here for my new Ahsoka trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.